You're listening to In Context Podcast. This season is proudly powered by Old School Africa.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back. And thank you guys for actually returning to In Context Podcast. My name is Joe, but you can call me Joe for short.
Hi, my name is Oluwatoyin for short. Thank you for coming back.
All you do is copy my steez, but
Please
relax. Anyway, today is gonna be a really it's one of my is a topic that is dear to my heart, and one of the guests or the guest is actually one of the dearest guests to me. Our guest today is a multi-dimensional faith-based entrepreneur. She's currently the co-founder and COO of Sendstack, and this is a startup maximizing technology to simplify logistics for African businesses. She plays a pivotal role in driving the growth of the company by driving customer acquisition, retention, and building out high-performing teams. Prior to founding Sendstack, our guest spent over 5 years in fashion and e-commerce, where she honed her skills in marketing, strategy, and operations. With a degree in politics from the University of Lagos, our guest's interest, because the name is here, but I'm trying to form mystery. But yes, her interests lie at the intersection of business, politics, and technology. She is a second-time founder and a public speaker who has graced stages across countries like the UK, Nigeria, Kenya, and Sweden. And she's deeply passionate about creating cultural influence through impactful business solutions that accelerate global economic development starting from Africa. In her time outside work, she loves to invest in creating timeless images and teaching practical ways to discover one's most authentic self in Christ. She's also known for her stylish ensembles.
That's right.
And loves to write, shop, and listen to music. And with that, let's welcome the amazing Ifeoma Nwobu.
Nice. Women in achievement. Oh, wow. That was great.
Welcome, Ifeoma. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Nice.
At some point, I was like, is it me?
Because really, that was you.
Yeah. What a CV. What a resume.
Do you understand? Do you get? Anyway, before we start the main conversation, we're going to do a quick icebreaker. I want to get to know you. So choose a number from 1 to 15.
What is it? Give me an idea of the question.
It's giving wow.
Expo not
1 to
allowed.
15. I'll choose, let's say 10.
Is that your lucky number?
No, just in case.
Angel number
In case it
444.
has something to do with money, I'll be on
In the middle. I like the way you're
larger
thinking. I like the way you're thinking. Okay, number 10 is
I hope it's a
mystery. Shh. Okay, sorry. Number 10 is, what is your most irrational work pet peeve? It's just like, it may not make sense to anybody else, but it pisses you off. A work pet peeve.
like from myself.
No, not
or
you. The
from
other people do.
We want you to judge people.
Yes, judge them.
I think it's people that don't know how to align emails properly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think that's a big problem.
That makes sense.
Because,
It looks so tiny, but it's...
there's a way emails should be aligned. First is the hello, hi, and then hope this meets you well on a separate line, like alone.
Oh, yes.
And then you now start, like, whatever you're saying. And I think every touch point in the email should have, like,
A separate point. That's
thing.
what they taught us in English. Topic
I wasn't
sentence.
even taught per
They
se.
to do letter
But,
writing.
Yeah, like so people that don't align their emails well, because I get to read a lot of emails, and like we just know when you use the phone. I mean, it's fine sometimes, like you're on the go, but when it's just like a regular thing, and then it's sent from iPhone, I think that it gets to me more than it should, and it's just a little thing, but then
Yeah. Thank you.
Everybody that uses Send from iPhone, please. You
See,
can
if
play
you're going
it.
to pitch to Sendstack or if you're going to pitch to Ifeoma, beware of the send from
Exactly.
iPhone tag. But yeah, that makes sense actually, because I'm like, what were you doing when we were doing informal and formal letter writing?
Yeah.
And like topic sentence and breaking into paragraphs. But anyway, sorry, I was an English nerd.
You were not
Can
doing
you tell?
that. We can tell. You don't need to ask us
But
again.
anyway,
Can I answer another question?
Wow.
I just feel like that didn't really.
Okay, give
It
us
didn't show
another
my
one.
personality.
pick another one. Just no, pick random.
Oh, you want another one?
Yes.
Okay.
It didn't show my personality. Icebreaker. That's what I. Yeah.
Okay, now. No problem.
Pick something juicy.
Okay. What's the weirdest food combination you enjoy?
Is that on that list? I thought this was a podcast about work.
It's about work now.
Weirdest food combination.
It's about you.
I like if you look at me from head, I don't eat any weird food combination. And I judge all this work with me on Twitter. All this oh come on, eat rice and amala. Work
Wait,
with
no,
me.
okay, but rice and banana though.
No, just buy plantain. Just do the right thing. Just eat rice and
the
plantain.
right thing.
So you're one of those people that your food is usually
It's
separate.
appropriate. Yes.
No, like it's the plantain is here on the plate.
I have a question. I think there is scarcity in the land. I think there is like famine. Yes, I think it's coming. Because like honestly, the food combinations I've been seeing lately.
Guy, did you see boiled egg
it's
inside
not okay.
oats the other day?
It's not okay. That person goes to the
Let's
gym.
not be
So
speaking
clear.
about such on this.
No, that person
We
goes to the
can't
gym.
give the person more publicity. We cannot speak about it.
But okay, maybe something people might find weird though is I only eat one kind of cereal. It's right. It has to be Rice Krispies, and I must take it with milk and Milo.
Milk and Milo.
Yeah,
Very
So it now
specific.
becomes like chocolate like version.
That's interesting because I hate any chocolatey cereal.
Yeah.
But anyway, this has become a personality.
Do you understand?
So you know what? Let's actually just go back to the beginning. So yeah, what was like young Ifeoma like? You talked about loving Rice Krispies, which makes me want to talk about young Ifeoma. What was young Ifeoma like? And what was the journey prior to finding your way in Sendstack?
That's a very big question, but like young Ifeoma was very, very like. Would I say? What's the positive version of aggression? Very
Boisterous.
Yeah.
Boisterous. The English nerd.
She said she's
English nerd.
That's it.
Yeah, like young Ifeoma was very.
Or rambunctious.
Excuse
Sorry.
me. Sorry. This is not an English podcast, please.
Young Ifeoma was very, I would say like energetic and very confident, very brilliant because I was head girl at some point in school. And I would say like that has contributed a lot to like even where I am now and what I want to like things I still want to do. But I don't know if there's anything about young Ifeoma in particular that you want to know because I can talk about myself for like a long time.
Fair enough. Okay. I guess you talked a little bit about your personality, but yeah, and how you were in school and all of that. So I think that answers it because we have many more questions that would help us.
Dive into it.
Yeah.
But this next question is about your personality. So like, how would you describe yourself and your personality? Because I know you mentioned at the beginning that something didn't show your personality. So tell us that personality.
Okay, so full disclosure, I'm in my feminine era, please. I'm learning to be. I'm just calming down a bit. That's just life, one or two things. One small shaggy startup. So I'm really learning to just calm down. And when I say calm down, not in a way that overrides like confidence and everything, just in a way that makes me more tolerant. Because I think the biggest thing I'm realizing now is that there's a big need for people. And I feel like there's a part of my personality that doesn't really like draw people in. It's actually just, okay, me, I'm fine. If you want to come. So I'm learning how to be feminine. And, like divine femininity.
Oh my God.
Act like a damsel in distress every time.
Femininity.
Exactly. Because it works. But that's story for another podcast.
Okay. So that's the vibe you want people to.
Yeah, just like a
look
good
you
a
in.
good balance. I think it's not, as a person like Jenna, it's not great. It's not good to be too aggressive or too like but at the same time it's not good to be timid. So there's a fine like balance, and you have to like just find ways to like switch context in
Fair
context.
enough.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
That was
like
good. That was
you have to find
Flesh
ways.
and blood has not revealed.
Yeah, so you know how to relate with your employees, you know how
Yeah.
to relate with your siblings. Sometimes just even being a founder, I notice in my personal life, I talk to my friends like it's work.
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's so bad, because who am I myself? So yeah, I'm just learning that balance.
Oh, that
Just-
makes
Fair
sense.
enough.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, we were saying we already have a little bit of context about your childhood and stuff, but you talked about how you were the head girl, you were very brilliant and all of these things. What influenced your confidence or your sense of confidence, when you were younger?
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
that carries over till now.
Yeah. I would say like the most important thing or biggest factor is probably home training.
Valid.
I come from an Igbo, like family. Not the typical Igbo family, but my dad, like raised my siblings and I to be very independent minded. I lost my mom at some point, like in my childhood, which also interestingly was a factor because it just meant that like I grew up like really fast
Quickly,
and had to like do things that my mom would have done for me by myself or like with my siblings. So I would say the biggest factor is the family I'm from and just like those very peculiar experiences and journeys that like just now tie back to today. And it's the same thing, right? It's the same experiences that make you turn out good and also give you like trauma that you have to now like
it's
that you
always
have
that.
to now like heal from. So yeah, I would say definitely. And then over time, obviously, like my relationship with God just like influences a whole lot more because like when I literally like remember, I'm God's child. Okay. There's no even little things like applying for visa. I'm like, it's my father that owns this earth. How can someone come and tell me that I cannot access this country? I'll just go through the right process. But I feel like knowing God, not that I feel like I know that knowing God, like and having my own relationship with Him, definitely like, it seals it because there's many things that try to like mess with your confidence, especially as a founder. And when you're like seeing the numbers and just seeing how everything is going. But yeah, I would say those two things for sure.
That makes sense. Thank you.
So we're talking about your background, but now more to your educational background, right? You studied politics, and I thought that was really interesting.
It's political science, so
okay, political science.
But it still is.
Yeah.
Politics is just the cooler.
Don't worry, let me go.
PS, political, then you move the AL and add the S from the science.
Wow.
Politics.
Wow. That's a very,
women in what? Girl math? Or which one is this one? But fair enough. Do you think that sort of influenced where you are right now? Or has it helped so far?
Yeah, so I really loved it. I just wish I went to I just wish I studied it like in an environment that really encouraged the
practical aspect.
Yeah, exactly. I probably would have been doing all these UN things by now. But I think no, it did not.
That's
it did not. It was just it was because of that was one of my strengths from secondary school. I was really good with government, literature, like artsy subjects. And me, I knew that I didn't want to study law. Yeah. Right. I didn't want to wear black and white. And also like the time frame it takes you to like become a lawyer in Nigeria. I just didn't want that. So I went for the next closest thing to that. So it was more like playing on my strengths than it amplifying anything. But it definitely like made me very interested in even like economical systems. I learned a lot about society, different theories of how society came about. Like how people and the economy, all those things. But it doesn't have. I could go back to school and study something else, and I would still come to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah, love that.
That makes sense. I get that. So let's talk about the journey into becoming a CEO at Sendstack. when did you start working at Sendstack? What did that look like? I do have a little bit of background on this, but I would love you to tell the story because I think our listeners and viewers would love to hear that.
Yeah. Okay, just for like full disclosure, like vulnerability purposes, I'm going through a bit of like imposter syndrome right now. Yeah, like I feel everybody should pass through it. But so even being here, like talking about, I'm like, ugh, like what do I want to say? What don't I want to say? But I would say like the journey has been very interesting. So officially, I think Sendstack has been running for 3 years officially, like to the public. But my co-founder and I have been at it for about 4 years now, so since like 2020. And it's not the typical journey into something, like how people, let's say, study finance and know they want to build a fintech or like they want to work in a bank. It was one of those things, or like it's one of those stories of just aligning with what is happening and like what people need. So I would say I started out working with my co-founder, and at the time we're working on another idea. But then we noticed that people were always coming to the platform to use this service that was not even the main thing, but it was like a part of it, which was like the logistics there. So we just made the hard decision to like really focus on that, because like if people come and they're asking you for something, you have to like see that there's a problem there, right? So I'll say that was how we got into it. As for me personally, I don't really remember the story directly now, but I know that it was during like COVID, like the lockdown. That was when I met my co-founder. And honestly, I was looking to become a software developer or like
Really?
yeah. So
You
I
had
was
picked up coding at the time.
yeah, exactly. But I don't think old school existed. I don't think resources like
Yeah, I think Talent Cure existed, but I'm not really sure about old school.
In
Yeah.
2020,
Maybe I could have joined
don't
them.
think in
Yeah.
2020.
But there was
Yeah. So I was learning how to like, I was training to become an engineer, and my biggest goal was just, okay, let me just become a front end developer and get a job in a fintech. And I knew the particular fintech that I wanted to work for. But it wasn't working, and I think I got to the point I was just like, Foma, who are you deceiving? Like,
This is not for you.
your brain is not assimilating this thing well. I tried for months, but every time I tried and I learned something in theory and it even worked, now like transferring that knowledge to a live project was just hard. So I went on, I tried UI UX design because I have a natural inclination for design. Fun fact, I designed the very first, like very, very, very first version of the Sendstack app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was just me and my co-founder, like, okay.
Move this one here, put this
like,
one here.
okay, I'll just,
Fun facts. Like, since we're talking fun facts,
Yeah.
I used to run a skincare business.
Yeah.
And Sendstack was like my preferred
Yeah.
logistics partner to like.
And we stressed out sometimes. Because I remember like even I was doing customer support, doing everything. So I knew and still know like a bit about everything that is happening. And so I tried design, and that was when I learned, look, like this design thing is harder than people give it credit for. But I was going to do it. But then eventually one thing led to another thing, and I met my co-founder, and he had offered me like a role. You know how like founders are always headhunting for talent. So I figured now that was what he did. Like instead of putting out an application, he was just like looking and speaking to people to filling like a vacancy. And at the time, I went through the imposter syndrome of that season. And I was like, no, this guy is a scammer. Like, what do you mean? Like from nowhere, I've never worked in a tech startup. Like it's not adding up. So I did not reply for like months. Yeah, because I was afraid. I was afraid of coming out from my comfort zone. But then one time in October 2020, I was having my bath, and Holy Spirit just told me like, go and reply that email. Just go and reply, have the conversation, see it through. If it works, like it works. And that was like after that, I started officially in December 2020. But this was just like us working, like he was like my employer. And this thing. I was like, like working with him. But that was how I found myself in this very scary jungle.
Into it.
Logistics is such an interesting...
In this very scary jungle, in this startup, I could have been doing United Nations, all these things, but that I'll say like that's the summary of the background.
And something really interesting. So you had started working with him as kind of like an employer type situation. When did that transition to then become the COO, co-founder, relationship?
Yeah, I would say like it was bound to happen. It didn't take me more than 3 months to know like that I wanted something more, because there's something about your environment and what it does to you. I was coming from the fashion industry that is very informal, and there's almost no there's almost no like clear path to growth. And it's like, okay, you can just do one thing that goes very viral on Instagram, and that's how you blow. But like getting in there, starting to hear conversations about funding, like all these things. I was like, okay, like this sounds interesting. I don't yet know what is here, but I do think that, and that's why I said like it's one of those things of like aligning.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting. I'm hearing, okay, engineers are doing this. They're looking cool. They're looking nice. And so it personally didn't take me too long, but then it was a conversation we had to have like over time, and I think it did become like official maybe like after a year, because like you have to build that trust. And when I say official, it means like written like a contract. You have to build that trust over time, and for me what I really did was taking up his vision and also running with it. And that's one thing I wish like I saw a lot more people like doing, as opposed to just, okay, come and do your job. It's like you have to be willing to go the extra mile, because like I said earlier, I'm realizing now that the biggest assets in life is people. Once you have people, you know that you are closer to like achieving something that you want, that you've struggled to do on your own. And so when someone who is honest and like transparent, which is like my co-founder, he has always been, in fact, even when he was like my employer, it never gave up that vibe. It was like two peers just working together. So when people know that you have bought into their vision, they are more willing to make those sacrifices, like for you, and take you like along the journey. So I'll say that was it for me. I really did not just see it as, oh, I'm here to make money, build my resume, and head out. It was more of, okay, I've seen an opportunity. This is somewhere I can not just build myself, but also give back to. And so that's what we don't give back for 4 years.
They roped you in. I love it. I love it.
Giving back and not taking anything at this point, bro. But yeah, that's again the summary of the story. And I keep saying summary because it's a very,
there's so much, in between all of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's interesting. I think what I'm curious about now is how you moved from the fashion and e-commerce industry, right? And you moved to this role. How did you transfer your skill? Because I know that a lot of people are looking to get into tech, or they're looking to scale in tech, right? And they just don't want to start from the beginning, because I probably have experience already. How do I use those same skills in this new role, in this new industry, like the tech industry?
Okay, let me give context that makes it context.
It's such a good name, right?
Love it.
Let me give context that makes it clearer. So when I was in fashion, I was a model, and then I did some internships and worked with like a few brands, even ran like a smaller like type business. And I had management for 1 year.
Okay.
And after, I was like, there's more to life. Let me leave and do this thing by myself. And in the process of modeling, I had management. So I was being managed by an agency. And after 1 year, I was like, I feel like there's more that I can be doing. Because the thing is, when you have management, they're focusing on other people too.
Yeah.
So if you're not the star boy or the star girl at the time, just sorry, it's just like
Like not the cash cow.
like Don Jazzy and like and
God,
like
please.
if you're not the Rema or the Arasta,
I'm not among Don Jazzy.
no, like you get it's just
it.
if you're not if it's not your time, it's not your time.
Yeah.
Do you get? So I kind of started to like sense that, not in a resentful way, just in a matter of fact.
Yeah,
I can do
because
more.
the thing we like doing as human beings is forcing the fact that we are special on others.
Yeah.
But if you know you're special, wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I decided to leave the agency and manage myself. So in my time managing myself for about 4 or 5 years, there's no skill I didn't learn. Like negotiation, marketing myself, because it meant that I had to get my own work or like jobs by myself.
Yeah.
Client management and relationship, even that email thing I mentioned.
That makes sense.
I learned how to send properly aligned emails. And those are little skills that people downplay. But the only thing is that those skills would then be transferred in places where you now have more responsibilities. So it becomes more dynamic. But the fundamentals are the fundamentals. So in my time in fashion, I learned all of that. Even when I was like running my business, logistics was one of the biggest problems like I personally faced. I even have tweets or like track record of me complaining and saying, anybody that solves this logistics problem can have all my money. I didn't know.
Then you did it.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
know that it was me setting
Let's go
myself
and find
up.
that tweet.
No,
Then you
honestly,
did it.
and it's just a pointer.
Actually.
It's just a pointer to the fact that like anything that is such a problem to you is probably a pointer to your calling or
God, yes.
something that needs your attention or a problem that needs your solution. And so for me, just transferring those skills meant doing what I knew on a bigger scale. I'll give an example. When I first joined like the company, and we're working on the previous idea, which was more like e-commerce, like a marketplace, kind of like what Bumper is doing now. When I first, literally the biggest thing I needed to do was like vendor acquisition, like getting vendors on the platform. I had followers on Instagram. I just leveraged what I had. I would DM people, they would reply me because they wanted to be associated with like that
Something
thing.
Ifeoma is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like something that was very irrelevant in my past life became the building
Foundation,
block for something else. Because so that was just it. So I think a lot of people trying to like get into somewhere, sometimes you have the wrong illusion of what you need to start. And I'm even stopping myself right now.
Okay, I love it. We love a good self-sub. Okay.
Like you feel like it's so
Far
big
away,
and so like unreachable, but it's literally just what you already know.
Yeah.
And so that's why sometimes when I go for all these conferences and I see all these people struggling to talk to people, I'm like, they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're just applying it more consistently, which has now given them like
Mastery,
more leverage. Not even mastery.
Honestly valid.
Even me, forget all those like bio and I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what would eventually make you say you're an expert beyond results. So if your results are not there yet, just like saying, oh, you're the co-founder, CEO. If you don't make money, you don't make money. If your company is not doing well, what are you co-founding? Just go and work somewhere. Like, but a lot of times we want to have that grandiose title or
Even
like
before
names
the
attached to
results.
what we're doing before just like looking to go from 0 to 1. So I hope that answers that question.
It does.
It really does,
Definitely
actually.
does.
But I'm curious though. You mentioned your skincare. What happened?
So the thing was, again, it was an alignment thing.
Yeah.
I never intended to start that business. I've run quite a few businesses in my time. And it was my phase where I was just so enthusiastic about sunscreen. And, I would tweet every day, this product, like or good SPF for Black people is just too
Important.
inaccessible, either from a price point standpoint, or just like a product just doing what it's supposed to do. And so I had tweeted, oh, if I'm able to get if I'm able to get some sunscreens from the UK that are actually Black skin friendly and are affordable, who would like to join me? And too many people responded. I was like, okay, no problem. So I did my research. I found a couple products here and there, and then I just really ordered and then threw in a couple extras. Right, and then sold out, and it sold out too quickly. And then people kept coming back. I was like, oh my God.
But you kept doing things to bring them back now. You opened Instagram page.
You said it like people kept coming back as if you were just in your house and they were coming.
But it was just like the mantle fell upon me. So so why we then stopped was because, again, it was the really important differentiating factor for me was that the size had to be, like, you needed to get value for money for whatever product I was selling. It was a very niche business. I was literally selling only that sunscreen, one brand, right? So when the price point was no longer as competitive based on exchange rate and stuff, I just thought this is not worth it, because the joy, like the profit margins on it weren't satisfactory. They weren't great, but I loved it because I just felt like I was fixing people's problems, man. One of my all-time favorite customers is actually the mom of one of my customers. Like, the mom is always like, she will send me screenshots. My mom has asked for 4 again, stuff like that.
Maybe she was selling now.
I don't know, but her mom loves sunscreen, and I think maybe she had bought a couple for her mom before, and this was just the best.
Let's talk about. I have another question, but let's talk about 4 bottles of sunscreen. Please, how many bottles do you guys use in a year?
Because so ideally you're supposed to use.
I'm going to want to hear yours because you were about to say something.
Ideally, you're supposed to use like a 100 ml bottle for like 3 weeks. If you are, exactly. You see why that was very frustrating for me, because I was like, if this bottle is 100 ml and I'm paying 7,500. It doesn't make, this is not sustainable if people are earning in Naira, and this is, skincare is like, SPF is more like a drug than actual like fancy skincare. It is, it's beyond self-care. It is recommended for skin health, because the skin is the largest organ of the body. So I just thought, this is ridiculous.
But it's only on the face people use it now.
Allow.
But yeah, I mean, people do use on the body and stuff, but like, allow
who?
still.
There's none.
Let's know that you have one.
3 weeks for only my face.
To be fair,
that's vanity.
I have it. So what I was able to secure was 200 mils bottles.
For how much?
And they were going for 5,500 at the time, where Misha of 30-40 ml was going for about 6,500. So it was just, it felt like, oh my God, I'm helping people.
Save
Keep
your
their skin healthy, but then it just wasn't sustainable anymore, because I was just like, I either inflate these prices, which I can, but also I have to start looking for a new set of customers altogether. I was just like, the mental stress for it, I don't have it. Oh, thank you.
But how did you feel? Even though you were the one that, like, but like, what led to that was sort of like a condition beyond your control. This thing they always say about like Nigeria killing dreams, because I feel like that's like a story that could have been a story to you owning your skincare line. So you had to drop it, and like you made the choice, but like, how did it make you feel beyond just like I beg?
It made me sad. But I think it made me sad because I felt like I built a community with my customers. Like, most of my customers at a point where I retained, basically. So they kept coming back. And it was just kind of disappointed to always say, I'm so sorry, I just don't have it this time around. In fact, the last customer I sent the product to, I actually sent a free product all the way to Abuja, because I had ordered the same brand, but a spray, an SPF spray. And I told her, I know you've been holding out for me to restock, and I just have not been able to restock, and I don't think I will be able to. But I can send you this bottle for free. So like this, for free, to hold down the fort, and then you can buy from any other vendor that you can trust. So that made me sad. But then also another really important thing is, I don't think it's wasted, because this may be waiting for me in front.
No, for sure.
So it's just like, I guess I'll just take it as a pause. And if it's not, then we had a good time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Such a business owner. Like you're such a small business focused owner.
I mean, because
you
like
literally just
for real,
wanted to
because
hear the story.
yeah, because we've been wondering, like at Sendstack, we had to change from focusing on small businesses to relatively larger scale businesses for reasons like this. So
Yeah.
we just hear people, oh, my business is no more there again, and it's because they're very, very affected by the
current
Volatile,
exchange,
currency and stuff.
yeah. So I just wanted to like
Hear
validate
that.
something that like you probably spend like time trying to research, because I remember like I have vivid memories of when like she would reach out for like support, and all of a sudden like I just stop seeing like not just her but maybe someone that now joined her team, and there are a lot of businesses like that, like that we just didn't see again, and so it's always good to like hear those stories.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I think now we can move on to a really important aspect of the conversation. This is really important to me. But first, we have a question from a member of our community. I think this links really well into my next question. So let me first read this.
Yeah.
So it says, "Hi, you can call me Chi Baby." And I am a marketing coordinator at a pretty popular tech company in Lagos. I am very passionate about my work and I have some great ideas for campaigns that I believe could really make an impact. However, I find it challenging to get my ideas heard in meetings. My male counterparts seem to dominate the discussions and I often feel sidelined. I'm also trying to build my personal brand in the industry, but I'm so stumped as to where to start. I want to be seen as a thought leader, but almost streets ruffle. Why so competitive? I can't lie, I find it so daunting. What steps can I take to ensure my voice is heard in the workplace, and how can I start building my personal brand to advance my career? That's from Chi Baby.
Hello,
Chi
Chi
baby.
baby. Sorry, Chi baby. But I think that's a very good question, or those are good questions, because I find that that's actually the reality of women in the workplace. But let me start by saying that my personal theory is to never, because I'm a woman, assume a victim mentality. So my male counterparts, sometimes it's not about the male counterpart. It's just about a skill that you've not yet like known how to like work with. So that's the first thing, because if I started to use certain factors plus gender plus age plus nationality, everything would just keep adding and adding on. So I do understand that sometimes it might look like it's because you're a woman, but if you validated that, maybe it's because you're a woman. Then you need to actually look at what those male counterparts are doing, and because for me, I'm very big on not always having the versus mindset, but more like a collaborative mindset if you're working with people who are reasonable. So it is not wrong as a female, um, as a woman, to have male mentors if you can learn a lot of what they're doing. That's why sometimes you see when women grow in leadership, they start to tap into a more masculine side of them, in quotes, or what people would describe as a masculine side of them. So I would say the first thing is to observe, what are your male counterparts doing? Are they are they communicating well? Are they just doing what they are supposed to do? Because I know that sometimes people like office politics and people might not want to get involved. But if they are doing ethical work, you need to try to get them on your side. Because I thought politics and like that's literally it. It's a thing of power and people, right? So try to get them on your side, or try to get on their side rather, or create your own, I don't know.
Just be on the same team, Sha.
Exactly. Especially if you're working together. So understand what they're doing. Do they take up more responsibility, or are you the type of person to say 6 p.m. I'm off and I can't work past 6:01? Just study those patterns and try to learn from them, even if you don't go to them directly and say you want to learn. And then another thing is with being heard, if you feel like you're not being heard, it's easier to say you're not hearing me. But take, for example, if I want someone who is actually who can't hear properly, I have to change my language. I have to go from speaking with words to sign language or writing. So you have to know how to, it's the same principle. You have to know how to adapt your language to fit the people that need to be heard, right? So you can't keep speaking one language and keep complaining that people are not hearing you. So ask yourself, who are the people I'm talking to? What is their personality type? What do they like? For me, for example, I find it very stressful when people come to me and give me things to further have to decide on. Make the decision and come to me, then I'm happy to talk to you. So you have to know, what kind of bosses do I have? What kind of colleagues do I have? In the workplace, generally, everybody's looking for ways to minimize their workload. So how is your communication, or how is the language you're speaking minimizing? I see some people, they come with very verbose language. I'm like, bro, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you
done my master's, please?
Can you tone it down? Because what you're doing is you're giving me, you're stressing my brain. Now I have to start decoding what you're saying, when you could have just said,
this is what I need.
This is it. Instead of, and then however, we now came into, so sometimes it's the literal communication. So find ways to tweak this thing. I know something that is very common with founders is they like things that are very brief. If you come with long pitch deck, so maybe how are you communicating your ideas for the campaigns? Are you going with deck, or are you just infusing the ideas you have in what is running and getting them to see the results? A lot of startups or founders, we work with results, right? And then it could also be a thing where, are you in tune, or are you even aligned with where the company is on a large scale? Because the company can be saying there's no sales, and you are saying marketing idea, how that's going to now cost them more money. So you have to on a more strategic level try to find out where the company is, where the organization is, and either find ways to fit your current ideas into what is running, and then tell them, okay, CEO, this is how we're doing it before, but when I did this is now what the outcome was. It shows that we can now do ABC, or this is the results if we did it this way, or we blew it up. So I think essentially you have to just work, find ways to speak the language that your team is speaking, because ultimately you're working in a team. You're not working with yourself, and a lot of times we like to be revolutionary when sometimes all we just need to do is fit in. And I said that thing about everybody wanting to be special. Sometimes we're not special. We're the same.
Normal.
Or everybody's
I say my mom lied to me.
No, your mom, there's a context in which your mom,
you're special to your mom. In that context.
If you feel like you're the only one that is special, then how should other people feel? So maybe you are all equal levels of special. So work as if you're working with special people. So that way you create a chain effect, not a top-down effect where someone is now, this thing. And then for the other thing, about building a personal brand, again, I will say that this is not actually where you need to think you're special.
Fair enough.
Because
life is always a balancing act.
Yeah, because now you are outside of the confines of an organization. You have your own rules. You're making your own rules. It's your own thing. You're building an audience that would literally do anything that you ask them to do, or listen to you the way you want to be listened to. So you have to look for that thing that makes you special in that context then. And just stop looking at people. Yeah, there's so many people like me now, and I just think of the number of anyway. But
you're about to give us some tea.
There's so many people. Sometimes I'm looking at myself, I'm like, I'm not really too corporate. My brand is not so corporate. When people think of me, they still think of fashion, and they still think of
I feel like you've done a really good job pivoting though.
Yeah,
it's a good balance.
I actually had to stop tweeting on my main I had to stop tweeting too much. Now we burner. Where I express my thoughts. Yes, and
like a lot of other Nigerians, we know.
It's locked. It's just my friends. Now I feel like, okay, I can not talk anyhow, because anything you don't want to be on the internet should still not be on the internet, whether on the burner
Write
account.
it in your journal.
Exactly, like, or talk to your friends in person.
But like I always do, just keep it in draft. You write it and just leave it.
Yes,
yes. Yeah. But I noticed, like, before on Twitter, I used to just laugh too much. I'm like, okay, so let people will not come and see me. I'm thinking they can just do anyhow. But in building a personal brand, you have to know what people like. I found that people like people who are relatable, but then you can be very stuck up and find your audience. Right? So just be consistent, and don't also like make baseless comparisons. Not everybody would get to the point where they amass thousands of followers, but if you have 100 or 50 committed people actually opening your newsletters, I don't think we understand, like, it's 50 lives, 50 real human beings. If you sat in a room with 50 people and they all told you their problems in hopes that you would give them a solution, you'll be overwhelmed in real life. So sometimes we have that tendency of like, oh, my own is not 1,000 or it's not 10,000 yet. So I think just build consistency, be yourself. Gosh, I always say this thing, people can sense inauthenticity.
English nerd.
It's
Resident English nerd.
You know, see me, I know English, please. You guys.
No.
Why do you think people can sense when you're being fake? Because I know the other words.
Apologies.
Forgive.
So people can sense inauthenticity. And then they don't, because we're all on the same internet. So for example, with ChatGPT now, I know when you've copied and pasted something from ChatGPT, and I'm not saying don't use it, but imagine coming to write a newsletter that was written by ChatGPT.
Sorry, I'm so tempted to make a delve joke, man. Let's delve into that.
Pardon my AI.
So I think it's just consistency, showing up. It's not easy. Showing up is not easy. Trust me. But just keep doing that. And what even is a personal brand? It's just like what people know you for, and you know, like what you do, etc. But just be yourself. Be content. Be content. I can't, like, contentment is a huge part of building your personal brand. Because we're seeing a lot of things that people are doing, and we wish we could do it like that way. But you're not really there yet. So just be content. And Chi baby, you don't worry.
It's sure for you. It's sure for you.
I like the way you said that, Chi baby. Like the emphasis was like, don't worry.
Like
and also
you're talking about the wrong things.
Really importantly, Chi baby, if you haven't already, you should definitely check out our websites. We have a career worksheet. You should be able to use that to figure out, some 1 or 2 questions, and then there are some resources linked for personal branding. So check that out.
We got you, Chi baby.
So, if you're like some of us who want to build a career in tech but don't want to code because even the thought of it just stresses you out, I have some great news for you.
There's a place for you in tech.
Of course.
As a matter of fact, there are a long list of career paths in the tech space that do not require you to code at all.
And contrary to what some people think, these no-code jobs also pay really, really good money. All you have to do is learn the skills you need to get started.
And a good place to learn these skills is Old School Africa. You can learn no-code skills like product design, product marketing, product management at the School of Products.
Classes are fully virtual, so you can learn from anywhere. Tuition is really affordable. There's an incredible community of learners like you, and you also earn a diploma at the end of the program.
That's right. You can get more information about available programs and how to apply at allschoolafrica.com.
Before Chi Baby's question, I had mentioned that I had a question. So pretty much this question is about women in leadership. I think it's such an important conversation because even up until, I don't know whether it was a week ago, I still saw someone tweeting about horrible female bosses and all of these things. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves the question of, do we expect, how do I explain it? Do we expect softness, undue softness from women because it's women versus like do the work and do the work. Do you get like what you would expect from your male counterparts or your male bosses in the workspace? Are you using a different set of lenses to look at women? So there's all those conversations about, you know, being assertive as a woman, being a strong leader is often used, like is often referred to as being bossy. And so for you, how do you strike that balance? Like how do you even understand that whole conundrum in the first place and strike that balance?
I don't think I'm balanced in that regard yet, and that's just me being honest. People underestimate the pressure you're under when you're trying to figure things out and be leading people. Like at the same time, I would say like I've come from not even knowing. Like when you talk about logistics, for example, it's very male dominated, at least on a higher level. You see more women, maybe in support roles or just
marketing.
Not even marketing, just the support hub manager, things like that. You see more women, but then you see more guys, operations manager, this one, that one. And let's say that's fine, because that's what it has been. Let's just assume that's fine. And so you now come somewhere where you're trying to now lead people, or you come to let's even forget the industry, just organizationally. You're trying to figure out the environment, the terrains of doing the business, and then you're like leading people. So I think that pressure is grossly underestimated. However, on the other side, we have to ask ourselves, like, what is our standard? I think kindness should be like a non-negotiable.
I'd agree.
But a lot of times people mistake kindness for niceness.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, like if I am speaking to you a certain way, oh, let's do this, get this done. And what you're expecting is, well done, good job. Peace and night.
Please, Chevi, you help me like, bro,
Such chumminess.
I think that
I can be firm and still be kind. I won't talk down on you or anything, but you know.
Exactly. So I think people mistake that or those two concepts a lot because it's even not sustainable. For how long can I beg you to do what you need to do? But I feel like I think there are naturally different expectations people have from men, male bosses and female bosses. I don't know why, but it's just unfortunately what it is.
I think it's a socialization thing, but
But like I said earlier, for me, I try not to automatically embrace those things for myself until I experience it. I want to be sure so that I'm not already
braced up for
exactly. I'm not immediately biased. But I know that for sure there are times when I personally could have said something better. And the most important thing is when you realize that, what do? Do you now offer them pizza?
Pizza.
Or do you acknowledge it and say, okay, I'm sorry, I know I should have done this and that. Next time, this is what you should have done, etc. So I think there's a way to balance that. For me, for example, I've had people they'll probably tell you I was the worst person they worked with. Right. And that's just because sometimes people don't stay long enough to see people get better. People think employee evaluation. Sometimes I'm upset. I don't have anybody evaluating me. I need that level of accountability too. I'm the one giving myself feedback and giving other people feedback. I wish I had it. And sometimes you have to submit yourself to that authority outside, to people outside the organization who don't really have the day-to-day context. So it's very tricky. I know people are chummier with guys, and sometimes it's just a thing of like guys not really knowing how to express how they feel about something. Like, you know how a guy will be vexed and they'll still be calling themselves guys, but a woman can be upset about something and on the spot she wants to like
clear it up,
address it. So I think it's like knowing the wise way to go about it. Sometimes address it on the spot. Sometimes give it time because in the moment you won't say it well. But for that expectation, I don't think it's going to change. I just think everybody should have a standard, and as long as you're operating within those standards, okay, don't ever
insult people.
Yeah, don't use like cuss words as like employees. Don't call them names. Don't raise your voice as much as you can. Like even when you're very like frustrated by something, don't start calling people foolish idiots. This one, I think if you have those boundaries, any other thing, not like you wouldn't err with your own boundaries, but at least you know that you are not crossing certain lines that even just as a human being
you should never
you
cross.
shouldn't cross. So that's how I function. I will not insult your mother and your father.
Makes sense.
But sometimes you would hear the frustration
Yes.
like from my tone, and it's just making sure I never cross those lines or don't get too close to crossing it.
Yeah.
And also like understanding the people you work with is very important. Some people have different temperaments. People have different personality types. So some people are just more aggressive, others are calm. So you know how to like work with everybody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like being a founder that comes with also being a psychologist.
Yeah.
An inexperienced psychologist. So.
Without the pay also.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think this is a great segue into your leadership style, right? How would you describe your leadership style and how do you approach feedback? Because I know you mentioned that most people do not give you, but sometimes you get feedback from your team members. How do you approach that and how do you handle it?
Yeah, so I asked for it.
You asked directly? That's interesting.
So we do this thing at Sendstack. It's called one-on-ones. Like, okay, there's always an open link. Book it. You won't talk to anybody. So the amount of feedback we both get is depending on how regularly you book it. Nobody's going to force you.
Okay.
But it's always like open. And this is not the performance evaluation. It's just, okay, we're just talking. And we're not talking about work per se. We're just talking about things. So I asked for it. I do my best to ask for it. Although I'm someone who is hard on myself. So I almost already know the feedback.
Yeah.
So for example, I got some feedback from someone that was on the team and it's always the same thing. And I'm kind of proud of myself. That it's always the same thing. Because like, you know that, okay, if you hack this thing, you'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Like if I just hack this thing,
Particular
people are always
part.
saying, I'll be a perfect human being. And because nobody's perfect, maybe you just have to. So the most consistent one has been like the way I give feedback when I'm not happy about something. Because I'm the person that will say, oh, well done, thank you, good job, oh, that's great, nice. But when I'm not impressed by something, it's almost like it kind of shows on my face.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, what was this? And so sometimes like people don't take that well. There are some people that have very combative personalities too. So on the spot, they're going back and forth. And I like those people. But the other people who are a bit more like emotional and feel like they can't really say how they feel back, I notice that it now gets to them. And it's now, like this thing. But overall, I think my leadership style is somewhere in the middle. I'm not chummy.
Yeah, also not.
I'm not chummy. Like, please, I'm just a girl. I'm not tired. I don't need to laugh with you. I don't have it in me. Like, you can't even hear my voice. Like, this is coming from like stress of the last 1 month. I'm definitely not chummy. I'm not the chummy one. It's my I think he's chummier.
Okay.
But that's why it's balanced. I'm not the chummy one. He'll come. We have this like calls every week. People are talking about the movies. Man, I don't even watch movies. I don't have anything to discuss with you. After work, please go. Like, and I try not to mix. I would say like I love the people I work with, but apart from my co-founder, I don't have anybody that's my friend.
Friend, yeah. I get that.
And I think that's balanced. Maybe as the team grows, definitely. But I would say I'm just in the middle. It's like semi-casual because we run a very flat structure. There's no all the CEO, all these things. It's just for outside, but inside everybody. I'm customer support. I'm operating. So yeah, I would say it's like in the middle. I'm not chummy, and not because I deliberately don't want to be, but I've tried. You find that you're responsible for how you come across, but not everybody can handle that. I've tried to be friends with some people before. It didn't end well.
Yeah.
So no, Not for
So
now.
no need.
Let's just do work.
I've
and
tried
go.
my best.
Yeah. But it's something that hopefully but I want people to have friends within the company. though.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a youth thing. Like
Yeah.
the friendship thing doesn't. It's not something you immediately
It's too
gravitate
hazy.
to.
It's too hazy for now. Like I'm fighting for my life. It's
Fair
not time
enough,
for
fair
friendship.
I get
fair
it.
enough.
Yeah, it's
Fair
still
enough.
too easy. I feel like when we get to a place that feels very comfortable, can start to have friends. Okay, let's go for ice cream. It's nice, but right now, there's no
Love
space.
the self-awareness. Fair enough.
Okay. So let's do rapid fire questions.
Okay.
This or that. Really quickly. Rapid fire. That
It's
is
just answer immediately.
quick. But yeah, this fashion girly edition. Based on
Yeah.
you see we did our research. Okay, so first one. Glam or casual? You're not rapid.
This your own rapid.
not rapid.
Gladual. We took both of them together.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this one, but bright colors or neutrals?
Neutral.
I knew it.
It's actually two of them together. For real.
Wow.
I don't think I can.
I've already
choose
put the answer. I've locked it in.
at all. It's not. No.
Yeah, now.
Two of them too.
Fair enough. And that's how you know that. You know, fashion girlies are greedy. They can
They
never
want
do one or the other.
everything.
Is it because I went
I
black
have
today?
see.
Tomorrow I went neon. Green,
shit.
they're shining.
Fair enough. Okay. Dress or jeans?
These two both of them.
Oh, I think we are going to rename this segment the two both of them. Inspired by Ifeoma.
Yes.
These two both of them.
Next one.
Oh, yeah, now.
I feel like if I'm at this point, you really just have to choose a side.
Okay, I'll choose one for this.
Next one. Skirts or shorts?
None.
Really?
Interesting. Why?
Jean, full length.
Okay, maybe because of the type of skirt I'm imagining.
Oh.
Shorts. I don't wear shorts.
Oh, actually, I don't think I've ever seen you in shorts.
No, that was me in my past life.
Yeah, I do think I remember an image of you in shorts and it looked really good.
She would look good in shorts. I just
Obviously.
don't remember.
Shorts. I can't remember the last time I wore shorts. Maybe when I'm going to the
Coloured
gym, but if it's just normal.
Even wear leggings, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
next
no.
one. Flats or heels?
Heels, please.
At least finally, because I knew the answer to this
You have to
one.
be classy. A classy girl.
Yeah, you should offer a shoe.
Fair enough. Next one. Sandals or sneakers?
Okay.
Sneakers, please. Sandals, please.
You know, I was
please.
like, if you had said sandals, I
There
would have
are
been
some-
like, lift your
There
leg
are
up to
some
the camera.
See, I will probably own my shoe brand at some point,
I'm there.
and I will ban
Sandals.
sandals.
Really?
Wait, it depends. Is it those Moses sandals or sandal heels?
No, so I would
Sandal
remove
will be
heels from the
flat.
context.
Sandals. When we were not in secondary school, please, that's the last
You are
time I
so
was.
real for that,
No,
man.
like no,
You're so real.
sandals.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not against it, Sha.
At best, those new age
Yeah, there's
platform
some
slippers
really
that they
cute
make now.
sandals.
But when I hear the word sandals, you don't want to know what comes to mind.
God. Israelites. Okay, next one.
Do you remember those gladiators?
Yes. Oh my God. What an era. What an
I wore
era.
it.
I actually never wore it.
I didn't.
I
You
wore
guys,
it
can
once.
never catch me.
I
Stop
did
it.
it.
I wore it. That's why I have the rights to say that. You should not. No.
No, we didn't wear it. We
You
knew
didn't
from
know.
her.
You just didn't know.
Afar.
No, you just didn't know. You just maybe you couldn't afford it.
Wow. So your life. Your life in the outside.
Or some of us just didn't like it from the start.
It's
but
a lie.
fair.
You know what? Next
I know,
one.
obviously.
Luxury brands or high street?
Luxury.
I
Of
thought you would
course.
say both.
Wait. Okay.
Don't say both.
No, but there's some high
If you had bamboozled me with high street, I would have been like, my sister, find your way back to
Wait, but there are some high streets that are luxury.
Yeah, but like think more.
Give
Proper
me
designer.
names. Like I just need to be sure.
This is
like,
Oh my God, I don't. So the issue
is
is that I
not
don't
a
want to
fashion.
mention brands because if I mention brands, you're not like
Okay.
no. Then they'll not be
Yeah. This is not a fashion
no.
show.
Give me
a fashion
examples
podcast.
of because
Okay, so think about streetwear, but think about it in a Nigerian context where averagely when people are wearing streetwear, it's not always name brands.
it's
but
not named brands.
Yeah, it's not always name brands. Yeah,
So that's the high street.
yeah.
No.
In this context,
Luxury. If it's not luxury, I don't want it.
Okay, next one, brand new or thrifting?
This one is tricky because I ran a thrift business and I loved it. I love the values that come with it.
Eco-friendly.
So I would, Is
it
tricky?
You're about to say both again.
I wouldn't. No, I don't know. Both.
I get you, Sha, for this particular one because I'd be a thrift babe too.
Because thrifting, especially in Nigeria, isn't the most fun experience, I have to say. So that also takes away the fun because if you actually had stores to walk into, I could thrift all day, right?
Yeah.
But
no, when
bending down at Katie.
I'm about to say like when I was in Europe.
Oh my God!
There's a whole street and like you just different places like in Sweden, like it's a thing, it's a culture. Even here as well, it's just people don't appreciate it.
So they wouldn't.
But always a
invest
thrift girl
in
at
that
heart.
much.
Always. Because even if I'm not on the receiving end, like the one buying, I always like give out or like resell my things.
Yeah,
And so,
that
like,
makes
it's
sense.
that
I actually do
thing.
like the idea of having a Depop page.
Like right now, let me say something that you guys know. But like I've been going to the gym and like all my clothes are not my size anymore. So like,
Oh my God, guys,
You just wanted to get that off your chest.
So, like,
oh my God.
So like I might have to resell my clothes.
You just wanted us to know that you've been in the gym and you've been
I've been keeping up with my protein
Oh
intake and
my
weight training.
It's not easy.
But
so,
fair, flaunt it. If you can do it, flaunt it.
Like,
Flaunt it.
I'm sorry.
I rate it.
There's this guy on Instagram that does like, how people who do this expect people to respond. I don't know if you've ever seen.
Yeah, those videos.
Yeah. So that's how I feel right now. So yeah.
Proud of you.
So I might need to like. So even today, like finding what to wear was such a
Oh my
hassle.
God.
Like, I was scared. Like for context, the upper part is still my size. Like
But the lower,
but the lower part, I'm just so stressed. I don't know what to do.
wow.
So I went for baggy clothes.
You must
like,
be so shy right now.
oh my God, like
So
it's so hard
stressful.
being me right now.
I'm screaming.
Fair enough. Oh my
love
God.
it. I love
Okay,
it.
so two more. Classics or trends?
Classy.
Okay, and then the last one, online shopping or going to the mall?
Going to the mall though. There's nothing like swiping your card.
God.
It's even the swiping your card for you, not
They're not
trying
saying
on the
it's
clothes.
swiping for her.
Throwing the things into the
Bag.
trolley or the bag or whatever, like trying it on and
Trying
like
it
making
on.
online is nice.
Making it your own movie, those 20
exactly.
makeover movies.
Online is nice. Please do online so you can use Sendstack for
Real. You are so real
but
for that.
me. And for me.
Ifeoma, wow.
Shopping in person. The
Makes
experience of it is just so like
Fair enough,
it's
fair
so
enough.
great. So, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. This was fun.
Yes, I've actually thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, but yeah.
Best in both of them. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so let's also talk about just to close out, we've talked about work and all of that. Your creativity, how does it appear in other areas of your life? So not just work, but just your love for fashion. How does it influence your life? How does your creativity affect how you live life generally?
Yeah. So
Apart from fashion, you just as a whole, you enjoy photography.
Yeah.
I see you doing so much more like in that creative space,
Yeah.
so just
I
talk
think
about
for
that.
me the biggest thing, the most important thing is how it makes me know that my sense of worth or value is not tied to what I'm doing.
Fair.
And I always tell
love that.
people, I love Sendstack. If I didn't love it, I would not be doing it. But it gives me a sense of choice. There's a difference when you're just assigned to do something in your life versus when you wake up every day and choose it. So for me, just knowing that I have all these other gifts and interests, but I'm choosing to do what I'm doing, it's just
It validates that choice.
it detaches my sense of what to just being
just
a
my work.
founder
Yeah.
or my job. Because if it's my job, I'm not I'm not the highest paid founder out there. Like, if it's about that, imagine I tied myself worth to this thing, like, because it's
Feel inferior.
sometimes I hear these stories about people. I'm like, yeah, you guys are enjoying. You're enjoying for real. Like, I wish, but it's fine. So that's the thing, and it also shows me like the endless possibilities, for myself. I always tell people. I just casually spoke about how at some point I have a shoe brand. Oh my God, I cannot begin to list the number of businesses or things I want to do.
You see, that's what I was saying just now.
Yeah, like I want to be a music producer. As you see me dressed like this,
Oh, yeah.
do I not look like
You feel the vibe like Mario, actually.
I can be, see, apart from that, I can be the one videoing this podcast. Say.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
I can be a director.
Do you want to collect?
Stop.
You want to unseat our production
No,
company?
for real, like, so
Yeah,
I want to be a
I
music
get
producer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to produce music. Like, I really want to. Oh, it's just as something that I'm doing because it makes me happy. Not I'm trying to survive or build a brand out of it.
Yeah.
I also want to get into I want to do something again in fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would still look like, but I really just feel like
that
coming from there was
eventually,
just like a pause. But there are times where you have to build a foundational block and make it very solid before you now start to add other things. So I feel like Sendstack is helping me create that base. Like I've learned so much that I feel like
Nothing
I can
will
do
ever be wasted.
exactly. I also want to have like a supermarket.
Real. Not such an Igbo woman.
I get it though.
Imepe shade.
I didn't get that buffet.
Yeah, like
To open shade.
So I want to do all these things. I want to have an automobile business.
You're so real.
My dear sister.
Container on the high sea.
I don't even know the first thing about cars yet. Oh, and the most recent one this one is not I want. I will own like my art gallery and just
Okay, I see that.
definitely.
I see that even happening. Like
yeah. So like it just there's just so much.
Many to explore.
There's
I
just
get
so
you.
much,
Like,
and it's just taking one thing at a time. Even if any of this started at age 60, like 60 would be the time to start it and retire and just come every day and be looking at the art on my wall. Fine, so this is how like all these other things. The
Into
biggest
your
thing
life,
is
yeah.
I am not negatively or wrongly attached to where I am or what I'm doing now, because at the core of it, what we do will always change, but who we are like remains the same. That was a nice
Word.
Like, I
quotable quotes.
that was yeah.
You know
it's
what?
giving philosopher.
We're actually rounding up now, and I'm so pleased with this conversation. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. But I have one last question. What advice would you give to aspire? Because I really do think your career progression, that journey, and ending up as a co-founder was such an audacious thing. We see a lot of conversations about how women are very often more likely to discount themselves from opportunities just from the outside. It's like, I don't think I will be able to do that. And for you to be able to dare to advocate for yourself is such an admirable thing. So what would you give some advice to like young women who are aspiring to leadership and, entrepreneurship?
Yeah. The biggest thing I would say is that the people you are aspiring to be like are just like you.
Right.
They're just like you. Even for me, I try not to be the contact point for everything, because you start to see people who make themselves God to other people. So the people that you aspire to be like are just like you. Once you understand that imposter syndrome is a normal thing. Be an imposter. Impost the imposting.
But still
like,
do it.
At the beginning of the conversation, like that was the first thing. I'm going through that right now. And I know what I need to do to get out of there. It just takes maybe one result that you set for yourself to now know that, what, I can actually do this thing. So embrace that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's a signal.
Yeah, like it's a signal that you are in a room that you wanted to be. And it's just like when you go to a new school or a new place, it feels a bit uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
And then you eventually find your people and your space. So it's the same principle in life. You would already have so many people who would disqualify you for things by virtue of who you are, where you come from. Do not be one of those people onto yourself.
Yeah.
That's the
That's so
simplest
true.
thing.
You cannot be one of your main antagonists.
Right.
Yeah. Because you already have enough of it.
Somebody
of them
said
in
stop
life.
standing in your own way. And I think that makes sense. Yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
Wow.
I know I've said it like 3 times now,
Yeah.
but I really have enjoyed this conversation so much.
So much.
Yeah.
This was fun.
And I hope I've set the bar for any other person who will come.
You very much have.
Because it's tough. This is going to be the most watched.
That's right. See, don't worry about it.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was so fun. Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again to another episode of In Context.
You know where to find us. In Context _pod on Instagram, Twitter, then on YouTube, In Context Podcast.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe. Share to your people. Share to people who really need to hear about this, because it's an interesting conversation, but it's also an important conversation, right?
Yeah.
So please share. Thank you for watching.
Thank
and
you.
listening. Bye.